Imagine living in a world where speaking the truth could cost you everything. Your family, your future, your life. Imagine watching a system built on principles slowly transform into a machine designed to protect power. And imagine knowing that if nobody stood against it, future generations might never remember what justice was supposed to look like. In the year 680 C, that moment arrived. The Islamic world had expanded at a breathtaking pace. Within a few decades, it stretched across vast territories connecting cultures, cities, and peoples. From the outside, it appeared stronger than ever. But beneath that strength, a storm was gathering. A political shift was taking place, one that many accepted, some ignored, and a few deeply feared. For nearly 30 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, leadership had been determined through consultation among influential members of the community. The system was imperfect. There were disagreements, conflicts, and even civil wars. But one principle remained. No family owned the state. No bloodline owned the future. Then, everything changed. When Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan died, power passed directly to his son Yazid. To supporters, this was stability. To critics, it was something else entirely. A hereditary transfer of power. A precedent that could permanently alter the nature of leadership. What had once been a community-guided system was now beginning to resemble a monarchy. And standing at the center of this historic crossroads was one man. Husayn ibn Ali, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib and Fatima, a man whose name carried immense moral authority throughout the Muslim world. Yazid understood something important. Political power alone was not enough. Legitimacy mattered, and few endorsements carried more weight than that of Husayn ibn Ali. An order was sent. The new ruler wanted allegiance, a public oath, a declaration that would signal acceptance of the new political order. For many people, giving such an oath would have been the safest choice, the practical choice, the realistic choice. After all, Yazid controlled the government, the governors, the treasury, and the armies. Resistance appeared hopeless. But Husayn saw the issue differently. This was not simply about one ruler. This was about what kind of society future generations would inherit. If moral principles could be compromised for convenience, what would remain? If power alone determined legitimacy, what happened to justice? If truth became negotiable, who would protect it? And so, Husayn refused. Not because he sought power, not because he wanted war, not because he desired conflict. He refused because some lines, once crossed, can never be uncrossed. As pressure mounted in Medina, Husayn made a decision. He would leave. Not with an army, not with ambitions of conquest, but with his family and a small group of loyal companions. Their first destination was Mecca, the holiest city in Islam, a place where bloodshed was forbidden. Perhaps there, a peaceful path could still be found. But while Husayn was in Mecca, something unexpected happened hundreds of miles away in Iraq. Letters began arriving. Then more letters. Then hundreds more. Then thousands. They came from the city of Kufa, a city with deep political significance. Many of its residents had supported Husayn's father years earlier. Many believed the Prophet's family represented the moral leadership desperately needed in turbulent times. The letters carried a simple message. Come to Kufa. We are waiting for you. We will support you. We have no leader. The invitations kept coming, again and again. At first, Husayn remained cautious. Words are easy. Promises are easy. But reality is often different. To verify the situation, he sent a trusted representative, Muslim ibn Aqil, a respected relative and loyal supporter. His mission was straightforward. Travel to Kufa, assess the situation, determine whether the promises were genuine. When Muslim arrived, the response seemed extraordinary. Crowds welcomed him, Meetings were organized, supporters pledged allegiance in large numbers. Everything appeared to confirm the letters. Kufa seemed ready. For a brief moment, it looked as though a peaceful movement for reform might actually succeed. But the Umayyad government was watching closely. And they moved quickly. A new governor was dispatched to Kufa, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, a skilled political operator known for his ability to maintain control. His strategy was not simply military, it was psychological. He targeted tribal leaders, pressured influential families, monitored communications, rewarded loyalty, punished dissent. Slowly, fear spread through the city. The same people who had publicly promised support began retreating. Meetings became smaller. Voices became quieter. Confidence evaporated. One by one, supporters disappeared, until eventually Muslim ibn Aqil found himself abandoned. The movement collapsed almost overnight. He was captured and later executed. Before his death, Muslim attempted to send a warning, a desperate message for Husayn. Do not come. The situation has changed. The city can no longer protect you. But history was moving faster than the message. By the time the warning arrived, Husayn and his caravan were already on the road. As they traveled northward, fragments of troubling news began reaching them. Rumors, reports, conflicting information. Then, confirmation. Muslim ibn Aqil was dead. Kufa had fallen under complete state control. The promises that once seemed so certain had vanished. For many leaders, this would have been the moment to turn back. But turning back was no longer simple. Military units had already been dispatched. Roads were monitored, routes were restricted. The state was no longer merely observing Husayn's movements. It was controlling them. The journey was becoming a trap. Eventually, one of those military detachments intercepted the caravan. Its commander was Hur ibn Yazid. His orders were clear. Prevent Husayn from reaching Kufa. Prevent him from returning. Keep him under watch. The confrontation remained tense, but peaceful. Days passed. Then, new orders arrived. Husayn was to stop. Immediately, not in a city, not near a populated settlement, but on a barren stretch of desert beside the Euphrates River. When Husayn asked the name of the place, he was told, Karbala. At that moment, nobody could have imagined that this isolated piece of land would become one of the most famous locations in human history. The caravan dismounted. Tents were erected. Families settled in. Children gathered close to their parents. Animals were secured. Supplies were organized. On the surface, it looked like a temporary camp, but beneath the surface, something far more serious was unfolding. The trap had finally closed. And with every sunrise, more soldiers began appearing on the horizon. Dust clouds emerged in the distance. New military units arrived. Then more. Then more again. The numbers kept growing. Hundreds became thousands. Thousands became tens of thousands. Until a small caravan of men, women, and children found itself surrounded by one of the most powerful governments in the world. The revolution of Karbala had entered its final chapter, and the harshest days were still to come. The plains of Karbala were unlike the cities Husayn had left behind. There were no walls, no fortifications, no crowds gathering in support, no strategic advantage, only open desert stretching toward the horizon. The Euphrates River flowed nearby, carrying life through an unforgiving landscape. Yet for the people inside Husayn's camp, that river would soon become both a symbol of hope and a symbol of suffering. As days passed, the military presence surrounding the camp continued to grow. New commanders arrived. Fresh reinforcements appeared. The circle tightened. Every road leading away from Karbala was monitored. Every possible route narrowed. The message was becoming unmistakable. This was no longer a political disagreement. It was a siege. And at the center of that siege stood a small group of people who refused to surrender their principles. Inside the camp were not only companions prepared to defend Husayn, There were also mothers, sisters, daughters, young children, and infants. Families who had traveled believing they were responding to the call of a community seeking reform. Now they found themselves isolated beneath the scorching Iraqi sun. Yet despite the growing danger, Husayn remained consistent. Again and again, he made it clear that he had not come seeking power. He had not arrived with an army. He had not launched a rebellion. His position was simple. He could not give legitimacy to what he believed was a corrupt political system, and that refusal continued to frustrate those demanding his submission. The authorities had assembled overwhelming force, yet they still lacked the one thing they wanted most: his endorsement. Then came a decision that would transform the crisis into something far darker. On the 7th of Muharram, access to the Euphrates River was cut off. The order was clear. No water was to reach Husayn's camp, not for the men, not for the elderly, not for the women, not for the children. The river remained visible, flowing, abundant, only a short distance away, yet completely inaccessible. For modern audiences, it is difficult to fully comprehend what this meant. The desert does not negotiate. The desert does not compromise. Every hour without water carries consequences. The heat drains energy. The body weakens. The mind struggles to focus. And as dehydration deepens, suffering spreads through every part of daily life. The first signs appeared gradually. Rationing became stricter. Containers grew lighter. Conversations grew more concerned. Then the situation worsened. Children began asking for water. Parents searched for reassurances they no longer possessed. Mothers attempted to comfort infants whose cries grew weaker with each passing day. The camp had entered a humanitarian crisis, and everyone knew it. Among the most respected figures in the camp was Abbas ibn Ali, the half-brother of Husayn, the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, a man remembered throughout history not only for courage, but for extraordinary loyalty. Whenever the children saw Abbas, they saw strength. Whenever families looked toward him, they saw reassurance. And now, as thirst spread